In this video, we're going to cover what is island hopping, something you're going to hear a lot of here in the Philippines with so many islands. Going to cover some of the costs and who supplies the snorkel equipment or the food. Very important factors. On this day, I'm over on Mactan Island, over on the west side of Mactan Island, across from Cebu City. And I had done an earlier video at a resort over here called The Reef. Some of you have seen that. And I saw a pier down the way, and I decided to walk over there and find out what it was all about. There are various size ferries and banca boats, outrigger boats, pulling up there and loading people. Anyway, it looks like there was a building here, or plans for a building, some kind of construct. Not sure what it was. I'm very near the pier, just walking down this street, and that's what you'll find in anyway, Cebu City. A lot of times you've got a rather relatively narrow road that goes down to these local piers, and this particular one, it has one or two ferries that go back and forth from Mactan Island over to Olongo Island, another island over not so far away, and you'll see a lot of people hauling supplies both directions. But it's also a place where banca boats, outrigger boats, come in, and you can go there and go island hopping. You can rent a boatman and his boat for the day or half a day, and you can negotiate the price. Now, it's going to vary by region, of course. Something I'm quoted often in Cebu City areas is 3,000, 3,500 for the day. I've been quoted 5,000 for a day out, and what does that amount to? What do you get for that? And that's something you need to be clear of when you hire a boat and boatman. If you want to go snorkeling, for instance, there's several islands off here, and many other places you would get a boat like this and a boatman. There's often many islands. Now, if you don't negotiate this ahead of time, find out what his plans are, what he's going to supply. Tell him, well, we want to snorkel, we want to swim, we want to see at least 3 different islands. He may just take you to one island if you leave it all up to him. And once you negotiate the price, you also want to find out who's going to supply the food. You know, they may supply the food, he and his crew, if he has a crew. They may supply the food and cook the food for you, and you can also negotiate what type of food you would like. I would guess. And those are some of the outrigger or banca type boats. And a little later, we're going to look at a larger ferry that comes into this pier as well.
Trans-Olongo Shipping Corporation ticket booth.
Olongo Island is a unique place. It's kind of a wildlife refuge. Get a lot of birds, migrating birds that fly over and stop over there, I guess. I read recently that there may be plans to build a bridge from Mactan Island, from over here over to Olongo Island. This is pretty shallow waters out here. And not for automobiles, but for people to walk or motorbikes, bicycles, that type of thing, and hoping to bring a lot more tourists over that way, I guess. Another issue is that during heavy seas, they pretty much shut down these boats, and so you don't want to overload these boats. You definitely want to be sure to bring plenty of water along. Make sure somebody is supplying water, and being around under the sun and the water, which reflects the sunlight, you're going to get sunburned very badly unless you've got good supply of sunblock. It is very common when you approach a pier like this to have various people try to get your business, I guess, put it that way, and to tried to line you up with a boat. How many people? You want to go right now? You want to go tomorrow? There's in the distance the Reef Resort, right in the center of the screen there. And then with so many islands, pretty much everything, all your goods come by boat, of course. And I know a guy that works for the city of Lapu-Lapu, and he's been over on Olongo Island. I guess that's part of their district, or anyway, they were putting up solar light poles, I think, different places on the island. And here is the larger ferry coming in, that actual ferry, and relatively cheap to go back and forth. And you'll see quite a few people coming over, and they come over and do their shopping, or if they have goods, if they manufacture something over on Olongo, they bring them over here and sell them, or hand them off to relatives who sell them over here. Not sure about that rubber boat there. I think a little bit later in this video, I think a group of perhaps Koreans or Japanese. I didn't look that close. We're getting on that boat. Don't know if they were going over to an island to enjoy the island, going over their number of restaurants, a couple of resort hotels over there, I think. Maybe they were just taking a trip over, but I would definitely want a canopy above me to protect me a little bit from the sun, although you're going to get reflection from the water as well, and get a good sunburn if you're not careful. So it'll be interesting to hear from some of you that have done this type of thing before. Did you go to one island? How much did it cost you to rent the boat? How many were there? Did they supply the food? Did you bring the food and the liquid? What about snorkeling gear? Did they supply it? Did you supply it? A few months ago, gosh, many months ago, went out. A friend of mine, chiropractor, Aussie guy, knows a Korean guy. He's one of his clients, and he invited us over to his resort on Mactan Island, and then to go island hopping. That was my first time actually island hopping, and we never actually landed on an island. He parked the boat and went over by Olongo and parked the boat in a certain area. And what you'll find if you want to snorkel or scuba dive is that there are different areas you get different types of fish. And we snorkeled in one area for, I don't know, an hour or so, and we picked up anchor, went 10 minutes down around a different side of the island, and snorkeled there for a while, and yeah, we saw different types of fish. Very interesting. In this case, he supplied the gear, and in fact, he supplies gear for many resorts, I guess, on Mactan Island. But my experience is that I've come to appreciate the full face masks. Now, you have to be careful with full face masks, because there are some issues sometimes with carbon dioxide. You breathe in carbon dioxide, and that can build up in some of your cheaper masks. So I'm going to go out and buy a little bit better mask that's been tested, make sure that the carbon dioxide is exiting the mask. Don't need to be, just speaking of masks, they think there's a German study about carbon dioxide poisoning wearing masks. Some of you know what I mean by that. It especially affects young children, but affects everybody, of course. You're breathing your own carbon dioxide. When you breathe out, breathe it back in. Anyway, looking forward to hearing about your experiences island hopping here. Take care. See you next time.